Pastor Ray Johnson and former white supremacist TM Garret are erasing the hate. Every Monday, 6 p.m. at WKRA FM 92.7, The Change.
Yes, how y'all doing out there in the radio land? We are here at WKRA FM 92.7, The Change.
And this is TM Garret.
And I'm Pastor Ray.
And together we are erasing the hate.
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Once again, we're always excited to come to you guys and to be able to talk about the latest things that's going on, latest news. But we like to share our opinion on certain things, especially when it deals with connecting, unity, coming together, doing things in a respectful way for each other, being able to respect humanity, each choice. So that's our platform. That's what we do. And we thank you guys. Last week we had a good discussion about the COVID, about the vaccine, things of that nature. And I hope you guys tuned in last week on that topic, and we'll be doing a couple things concerning that again today. So TM got some things that he want to talk about today as well. How was your day, man?
Well, it's a Monday. Nobody wants to get up on a Monday. Nobody wants to work on a Monday. We switched. We used to be at another radio station, and we used to be on Sundays. Right. And what time was that? We were on from
6.
5 to 6. Was it 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yeah.
So it was pretty much around dinner time as well. But I guess you can't have the perfect date. And then we said, who wants to get up on a Sunday,
Right, exactly. Because Sunday after worship, most people worship, or those people that may not go to a worship place of worship, Sunday is like Lionel Richie says, easy, like a Sunday morning. So Sunday mornings are easy, like Sundays are easy. People just kind of rest and get ready for Monday. So,
but what is easy? What is easy?
What is easy in 2020? Let's say that.
Right. And this is what we talked about last week. If you missed it, you can go to our website. We've got the stream there. We've got the podcast there. We've got the video there. You can see it. You can listen to it. We're talking about COVID. I mean, who's not talking about COVID this year?
Right. That's everywhere.
And, we're trying to make our show interesting. And this is also where I want you all out there who are listening, local or not. If you stream it, if you watch it on YouTube, or if you watch it here, really on FM 92.7 locally, if you have ideas of people who are out there actively erasing the hate, send them our way. We'll get them on the show. Either call in or we have them here. Yeah. Because we want to know these stories. We want to know how people actually actively are affecting the community in a good way to get rid of this hate. And here, to make it interesting, we of course are looking on the internet. What is trending? What are people talking about?
What are they not talking about?
No, it's what are they not talking about? You see crazy things. Of course, the entertainment stuff. We don't need to talk about that. You see flying blades off fans. Have you seen that?
Huh.
There's one company had a recall for fan blades because the fans got loose. The fan blades got loose and started hitting people.
Oh my God.
I was like, we still have 2 fans that are not installed at our house. I may want to look what brand they are. But this is the stuff that is trending. If you got, maybe you want to look it up and see if you have killing fans or
right.
The attack of the killer fans.
Nothing surprised me in 2020.
No, nothing.
What will not happen will happen in 2020. I was looking at CNN the other day and they was talking about 2020 and then can't wait to 2021.
CNN, you must be a liberal.
I watch a little bit of all of it. But they was talking about, man, just talking about what 2020 was, and and things, and they were just saying that they praying for a better 2021.
Yeah.
Which I believe it would be. I think we're 2020. I think it gave us an opportunity to get more wise, to be to look at the obvious, and because there's a lot to happen, man. They were protesting. Of course, you got the COVID. You got a lot of people dying, a lot of known people losing their lives. You just had so much. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. You had so much.
No, the thing is not. I don't think that you had so much like these things, like George Floyd and whatever. That happened all the time. Mm-hmm. But people got when they sit at home. They look for more stuff,
Right.
It doesn't get us unnoticed.
Right.
So I think these are the good things that COVID brought this year.
Yeah.
Because people were sitting there and they were more sensitive to these stories because everybody was looking for something,
Right.
What's going on out there. And
Will Smith said this. He said, nothing to have changed. He said, if it's all this has been happening, we just have video cameras now.
Yes,
it's
that's one thing. Put it on Facebook. And last year it was on Facebook too. The year before it was on Facebook, but not as many people have spent that much time on Facebook last year or social media in general as they have this year. So it gave actually these topics the attention that it needed.
Right.
But of course, back to the main topic: COVID, coronavirus, and we talked about it last year. And just like politics do, and like hate does, coronavirus has affected the community so much too, because you've got these typical two sides, The one say it's fake, the other one say it's not. The other one say mask up, the other one, no, if there's a mask mandated, I'm not coming. And both sides are really being ugly to each other. And this is also something I really want to talk about and see, okay, this is hate. How can we erase this hate? How can we create some compassion? How can we these both sides are very hard with on the standpoints, what I mean?
Right.
They're very hard-headed. And you need to
and
maybe
it's just like my view.
And you need to understand the other side,
Yeah.
And again, if I'm one of those people and say I don't want to wear a mask because it violates my constitutional rights and all that stuff, and you are starting really to attack me, you're starting to tell me that I'm bad and whatever, well, I will shut up. Mm-hmm. I will shut down. Not shut up.
Yeah.
I will shut up too, because I will not talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I will shut down. I will shut up too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to talk to you.
Right.
Why? Because you throw hate at me and tell me that I'm a bad person who wittingly is hurting people.
Right. And then a lot of times make you second guess your thoughts, and how you feel about a certain thing. Because if you keep getting people to tell you, no, this is wrong, and then you start second guessing yourself on your opinion, and you may feel strong with your opinion, whether it's against somebody else's or valid. But you start to question yourself. A lot of times you question yourself, like, man, am I thinking wrong? Am I wrong?
And the thing is also, people are looking for things that are wrong. Now, there's 3 things that I have on the list here that are really interesting. Not flying fan blades and stuff, or whatever. I had a whole list, and I actually wanted to make a list what we're not talking about, just because it was ridiculous. And I thought it's too ridiculous. Anyway, so COVID, then of course the COVID vaccine, and the stimulus package.
Okay.
Because they voted on that today again, if it goes through. So it looks good. But the vaccine as well. And I saw people, it was a couple of local people too, by the way, posting about the vaccine, if it can be trusted or not. And you could see, I believe it was when Pence and his wife and somebody else got actually vaccinated.
Yeah.
And it looks, again, I didn't dive into it too much, but people are looking for something. Is everything looking all right? Oh, the syringe looked like it's already done,
Yeah.
Oh, they're not getting vaccinated. That is fake.
Yeah, right,
And this is the big problem that we have today. Everybody's expecting fake and lies everywhere. And they're looking. They see one thing that could actually be something good. Like, in that case, a Republican leader's getting vaccinated. Something that actually doesn't fit in the normal agenda, right?
Yeah.
Because usually the conservatives and Republicans are more the anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers.
Right.
And they're getting vaccinated. Oh, can't be. So let's look for anything that can prove that this is a fake.
Right.
And the other side is doing the too, of course. You have, like, your conservatives, they're looking what is all fake and a lie from the liberals, you know. And this is all everybody expects, and this is so hard.
Well, they had they had the same feeling about the virus itself anyway. Is it fake? And a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not wearing masks. It's fake. It's it's not worse than the flu. It's just like getting the flu, so I'm not going to go that far with it." Until I don't know if those people that feel that way have had people that loved ones that has passed away from it. And then still sometimes we say, oh, it wasn't that, they labeled it as that. But, I've had loved ones that, like my sister, she's in the lab. I have cousins that, are nurses and things of that nature. They have gotten the vaccine. And I think, they only side effects were, sore arm or whatever. And, you get that with the flu shot, kind of be sore. So, but, I don't know when people will wake up and see, everything is not a conspiracy, theory.
Yeah, the problem is, okay, you are a pastor. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about faith and belief. Okay. Believe in something. And people today have a hard time believing in general. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what religion, it doesn't matter what, just in believing something. Because everybody's just out there and thinking about fake and lies, because everybody in the media and everybody in politics is feeding that to you every day, all day long. They are lying. No, they are lying. No, they are lying. No, they are lying. Everybody is claiming that the other side is lying. So I can see that people of both sides are really, really leery and don't know what to believe,
Right. Right now, they say the economy is short. They say a lot of things are short. Is things are, we don't have certain things and people are without certain things. But let me tell you, the main shortage in our world and our economy today is the shortage of truth. People are suffering from truth. Like they're really searching for it right now. They don't know who to trust. They don't know, because not that a lot of people were like, yay, Trump lost and Biden won. You hear a lot of people that wanted Biden to win still don't trust him either. It was just like, so it's not like, there were so many pro-Biden people and anti-Trump people. But it's just that people don't trust anyone right now. I mean, it's so hard to trust anyone because you don't know what's true. You don't know what is not. So the word believing means to pursue. That means to go after, to do something that you trust. And that's why it's hard for people to believe, because they can't trust in anything to pursue.
Well, but what do you do? What are you supposed to do? Aren't you supposed to give somebody that benefit of a doubt, and say, hope. I trust you until you prove me otherwise. Right. If we both would have been this way, right, like they are today, starting already, they see something, I am not believing that, I don't trust this. Mm-hmm. So when we two met with that same background, we would not sit here. We would not have trusted each other. We said we trust each other until you prove of me otherwise, or vice versa. Right,
because see that what it stems from is the hope that we had. You was hoping to get people out of the movement. You had your hope was to become this human activist to help people to see and to love more and things like nature. My hope was the same thing. Even in pastoring, I was hoping to, my job is to hope. I hope that I have people that I could touch each day that could, change their lives. And so what I hope is it builds the truth, of where we going, which is a stem from the believing part. So we had to trust each other. because it stems from my hope. Okay, I hope I can do this, hoping I'm doing this, but I got somebody that's thinking like I'm thinking and believing like I'm believing. So we had the hope in that. Then we start beginning to trust in each other. Now we start pursuing what we trust in, and so we started going after that. And when we started doing that, because we're both authentic and we love, hard, and we both have the same mindset and the same heart.
Right.
Now it's easy to flow together or to do things, because guess what? We built that trust, and it stems from the hope that we have on things that we want to do and want to accomplish.
And of course, there's always a chance that it backfires. You never know if it works. But it's the same thing. You meet somebody that you fall in love with. You don't know if it's gonna work.
Yep.
All you have is faith.
Faith, that's it.
Right? A friendship. All you have is faith.
And them butterflies in your
you're
stomach.
taking a new job, right? Huh?
Yeah. I said, and those butterflies you have in your stomach when you see it.
Right, but these are okay, I want to do this so bad. So, and this is what gives you hope. Why you're going to do that? And you have this you don't want to see anything bad, but it's the same. Take on a new job. If you start from the beginning, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm not doing it in the first place. If you start with that negativity, nothing in life will work. Seriously, nothing. There would be no reason for us to sit here, because we would be like, who knows if anybody is listening? By the way, talking about if anybody is listening, our phone number is 662-252-6692. Call in, tell us what you think. And what you think about this, about faith, about hope. Shouldn't we give that benefit of a doubt to what we hear, to what people tell us, and then go from there and then decide if they lie to us? Or should we just think they're lying to start with,
exactly.
and then no matter which side they're lying?
Who wants to live like that, though? How would you even embark upon something that could be life-changing if you don't take that leap? When you get into relationships, you're taking that leap of faith. Me and my wife been together 16 years. We took that leap of faith. We didn't know that 16 years down the road we'll still be together. And we have had issues that come up that, like every marriage, have some differences and things of that nature that we could have just said, oh, okay, I don't trust you no more. I don't do this no more. Let's split. Let's give it up. But we worked hard at the relationship to keep it going for the benefit of ourselves and how much we love each other and the benefit of our kids. So if people live like that, like, oh, I didn't do that, and they will live alone. They will not experience some of the greater things that could happen in their life if they do not understand the process of the leap of faith and what it takes. And you're taking a risk every day. You're taking a risk going out in your car and driving on the street. People taking a risk every day and don't even know.
You can walk out of the house and the limb breaks off the tree in the front yard and hits you on the head.
Right.
You don't know. It is what it is. But this is the leap of faith we just have every day, every second, no matter what we do. If you cook something, well, you hope that it's going to be good, right?
Right.
You're not like, oh, this recipe is lying to me. I'm not going to try it. I mean, no matter what you do, it's all based on this hope and that faith. And this is just what we need a little bit more.
So that's how it is. That's what we're talking about when we discussing the vaccine. Like, okay, for me, now let me say this about me. Now, I'm not going to get it right off. I'm going to take some time, because anything that's new going to have some bugs in it. All right. Now, I understand their process of the first line people. I agree with that. They should go ahead and give it to them first, because again, I just always refer back to my sister, because that's who I know personally. That's in the front line.
Even politicians should get it first, because we voted them into office. We elected politicians that they are taking care of us and what's going on in this country. On local level, of course, they should get it first too, and that is right. Leaders of any kind, healthcare, political leaders, and so on, should get the vaccine first.
Because they're community people. They're always in the community, and they have to be. So many points. They can't dodge that. Of course, being safe, wearing their mask and wearing gloves. And things that's possible that's going to keep them safe. So I understand. Why they was really getting it to a point where they kind of rushing it to get it to those people, because you had doctors dying who was taking care of people. You had nurses dying from it who was taking care of people. And if they stopped because they had to fear dying from it, then who was going to take care of those
right.
that had
Even
it?
politicians, and you remember when Trump had COVID. I mean, there's some people, they say, oh, he didn't have it. No, I believe he had it because you can't cover that up. You can't make it up and then cover it up. Too many people would have known it's a fake. So he had it. He probably got all the shots and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. He got out too early, but, you know, as much as I don't like the man, you know, I would never wish that he's going to die or whatever as a human being. But also, even though I think that's my personal opinion that he's not a good leader, it still would have thrown the nation into a deeper crisis if the president dies from COVID all of a sudden. Yes, you have like the vice president, House Speaker, you have your chain of command who's next in charge. But this is nothing we need. So these leaders need the vaccines. They need the treatment. Even if it's a leader you don't like, it's still what it is.
Right.
This is just the basic compassion we should show to anybody. And also, benefit of a doubt. And the third thing on the list is not only it's stimulus package, you know? So we know Trump didn't want to sign it. And he said, nope, $600 is not enough, right? I want $2,000. How we got there and whatever really doesn't matter. But he said, I want $2,000. So there's people that came up with ideas why he wants $2,000 just because that he has a deeper agenda there. But you have certain politicians like Cortez or Ilan, whatever, all these people who are usually super anti-Trumpsters who said, okay, this is something we agree with him. And they didn't doubt why he's saying that, no, let's do this. Okay, we support the president here. Yeah. And nobody hates the president more than those couple of politicians. That's AOC and Ilan. And anyway, but they agreed with him and said, no, we agree with the president, period. And this is the benefit of a doubt you should give somebody, even if you don't like them, that he generally may think, no, I really want people to do good and want them to have $2,000. Of course, he had an agenda because he wanted to get rid of Section 230, I believe, with when it comes to social media, that they're held responsible and whatever. This is one reason. But nobody's just evil or whatever, you know? I mean, we need to give even a man with such a bad reputation the benefit of a doubt. Right. Maybe he really means that I want people to have 2,000. I want them to survive. And
I mean, you don't look for, and I think it's very disheartening if you're looking for in every aspect a person having an ulterior motive.
Yeah, but this is what I say. This is the lack of hope and faith.
Yeah, this
is exactly the same thing what we've been talking about. You don't give anything and anybody the benefit of a doubt anymore. You read. You have a prescription. You know, if your whatever, your medication and whatever. You look at the package. Doubt. You don't trust it. Don't trust it. Don't take it. You see something on CNN or Fox, depending where you stand. Don't trust it. You see politician, depending where you stand. Don't trust them. Just because they're red or blue. Or just because you're an anti-masker, anti-vaxxer, or you believe in it, and that medication or prescription is for a certain thing. Just based on what you believe in, you already know, oh, this is fake because it comes from the other side. So therefore, it must be wrong and bad. And this is the same thing. And this is like, you know, you had those phenomenon started never Trumpsters. No, never Trumpers. Have you heard of the people? That means never people Trumpers. Never Trumpers, which means he never can be right.
Yeah,
which is stupid.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. I mean that is harsh, man. I don't agree with a lot of things he did, but
it's because
it's some things he did do right.
Yeah, it's the same when you're on the far right and you say everything that Pelosi says is BS or whatever, and all these things. It's just, I think we're losing our humanity. We're not only taking it away from others, we're losing our own if we chime in and do the same.
I think it's a bunch of chaos. You know, when you have chaos it's hard to hear the truth when things are chaotic. And I think because they were so just so much in chaos, I think people don't know. They don't know what to trust, because
I think
if I can trust you,
I think we have a caller. I just gotta
let him in.
Call.
All right, what you got? What you got, caller? State your name and tell us what you want to say.
Okay, this is Spanky.
Right.
My comment is trying to figure out whether to trust something or not when you hear it. I look at the history of subject matter.
Okay.
Like if they want to give out vaccines and stuff like that, like I remember back in the day, they gave like vaccines to the Tuskegee people or something, and then like with the smallpox, with the blankets, with the Indians. That's how I figure out if I want to trust it or not. I understand what you're saying about faith and everything like that, but I look at a subject matter, in the history of it. That's why I love history, because history can repeat itself, and that's probably why so many people of color are doubting this vaccine, because of the history of like using certain people, minorities, as guinea pigs.
Right.
And that's my comment. And I'm loving the show. Y'all keep on what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
That is so profound what he said. He was talking about not only just the history, but because they're doing now the statistics of black people that's going to take this vaccine is very low, and they don't want to take it because they don't trust it, because guess what? It goes all the way back from history. I don't trust America. Why? Because or I don't trust. Let's even talk about Christianity. I don't trust Christianity or the Bible or Jesus, because everything in America is white. Santa Claus is white. Jesus is white. President, everything that has authority has a white color to it.
Right.
So
and they have done bad things. Right. I mean, what the caller was saying was that happened before. You had really those experiments with syphilis, that black Americans were actually infected with syphilis to see how they're doing and what works and what doesn't. And those people didn't even know it. And these things happen, and many people are not talking about it. And this is like my favorite example from Dula, the purple gorilla. And this is exactly what it is. And let me repeat it again. The purple gorilla effect. If it knocks on the door, you open the door and there's a purple gorilla and he smacks you in the face. The next day it knocks again. You look, it's a purple gorilla, and you think, let's see what he's going to want. Open the door and he punches you on your nose. It breaks, blood everywhere, and it's bad. Okay. Did it again. The third time knocks on the door. You look out the window. It's a purple gorilla. What are you going to do? You're not opening the door anymore. This is exactly what happened. This is how white people have treated African Americans in this country for so long. And there's a certain distrust. And I was on a panel a couple of weeks ago where we talked about this fatigue that exists in many, not the whole black community feels like it, but many people in the black community that I've talked to have expressed this fatigue, that they're so tired also of explaining to white people why. They're just tired. Some are just talking. Just stop talking to white people. That's just, okay, I'm done. I'm not explaining it to you anymore. If you don't get it, period. That's it. I'm not talking anymore. And I do understand it. I really do understand. And this is why I always say, this is why white people have to be the allies and have to convince other white people not to be racist. It's all our job, but mainly it's the job of white people who are not racist to explain to other white people not to be racist and why, and that white privilege exists and these things. Right. And because of that, it is a hard job, because I'm doing it all the time. And
but see that's the whole thing.
I don't understand.
It was a very, very good point that he had, man. Just to think just the history part, and so we go back to the history of government, as far as different things and things that's happening to to us, and the support and the things that the government has done in the past as far as supporting. Because I heard a guy said the other day, in every part of history, everyone has had a pandemic. Everyone has dealt with the pandemic
Right.
in some point in America, whether it's, slavery, pretty much a pandemic. All these things, the Great Depression,
you had
when
the Spanish flu, even AIDS was a pandemic.
Right. Yeah.
It's just there were certain precautions that were done and measurements that it didn't spread.
Yeah. So
people
how did they handle
realized,
that? How did they handle those pandemics? And so I think that's why some of the Democrats and some of the others were very disappointed in President Trump because of how he handled the pandemic, and he wasn't as upfront and close like some people wanted him to be. And so I think because of that, honestly, now this is my opinion, I think that's why he lost. That was the cause of his losing the presidency.
But you said something last week, and because I mentioned like the HIV, the AIDS pandemic, you said it is similar.
Yeah.
You have unprotected sex, for example, and that is like not wearing a mask.
Right.
But why? And this is very interesting. If you go back to the 80s, you didn't have that resistance that people said, oh, you want me to have safer sex? Oh, you are restricting me in my freedom. Have you heard that somebody said that back then? I didn't.
Yeah.
Were people around saying that?
I don't think it was to that
politicized
extent.
like that.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because I think the bigger thing was them finding a cure for it, because they were saying that the difference in sexuality. They really said it stems from a lot of homosexuality, the LGBT community, and that's where most of the virus were coming from, that community. And so I think they, their point was to, attack that area. And then they would say, hey, you're my freedom of choosing who I want to love, so things like that. So that's why if you see a bunch of the commercials now with medicine that's against, that is to help with HIV, you see a lot of, maybe, anybody in that community, you see two guys talking about the pill that helps with HIV or something like that. So they really that's like the face of it, the medicine that
right.
supports
But
HIV.
I remember in school, late 80s, when I was a teenager in the late 80s, you too. So and you had education in school, and they were where they told you, okay, safer sex is important, you need to protect yourself, and that was addressed to everybody, to the boys, to the girls, and it was, of course, they said it's the gay disease, Of course, some people were saying that, but educators and healthcare workers, doctors, they addressed everybody with that. Every kid got that knowledge and was aware of that.
Right.
Every adult. And this is still the difference, that they didn't say, oh, you want me to use a condom, you want to restrict me. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear these comparisons,
Right.
And this is very interesting, but it wasn't that divided. I think Facebook wasn't there either.
No, Facebook.
that might be it. Social media.
Media, period. So you call social media, and you call it the regular mainstream media. Media itself has been the influencer for everything that's been happening, protesting, the COVID, the vaccine, all this is just pumping that information into people. I had to pull away from that stuff sometimes.
Right.
It's get depressing,
right.
And it starts to, it starts to mess up your better judgment and on how you feel about certain things.
It doesn't, and I agree, it does mess up your better judgment. Even though you can try to be a great person and whatever, it will mess up your judgment. This is when you sit on Facebook, and you type that long post that you delete and don't, or post and then delete it, because it goes against your better judgment.
Right.
It happened to me. It happens all the time, and it's really tricky, very tricky.
So controlling that, you have to control what you hear, because what you hear is what you consume is what you become. You know how the old saying is, you are what you eat, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you consume the most, that's what you will become. So whatever message you're hearing the most, That's what consuming you. That's what's gonna control the person.
Right.
Where the mind goes, the man follows.
Right. But you say better judgment, okay? It influences our better judgment for the better or the worse. Mostly for the worse, because we lose track what's good and right.
Yeah.
But if you see, no matter what, if you look at Fox or CNN or some out there have more radical, on the left, maybe the Daily Beast, on the right, Breitbart News and whatever. But if no matter where you stand, no matter what your news outlet is, aside from this better judgment that political judgment maybe, we still have a moral judgment that we can see. This is bad because somebody gets treated bad. This is something so simple. Somebody gets treated bad, therefore this is bad.
Right.
Regardless of the background.
Right.
Really regardless. And this is it's one of my people, therefore it can't bad. And this is what we have to be aware of. Even if it's some of my people, like either I'm white, so if it's a white person doing something, then it's bad. You're black, if it's a black person, then it's bad. You can't just say it can't be bad just because it's one of mine. Or if you're a Republican, it's a conservative too, therefore it can't be bad. You're so stuck in those labels,
Right.
these
Call it what it is. What was Martin Luther King quote was, don't judge a person by a color, but the content of their character, because it all stems back from character, who you are. No matter what color you are, it's what's been your influences all your life. What's been influencing you, what's been causing you to make a better judgment, or things like that. So, and it comes from education, whether it's education in the books or education on the streets. You still getting educated and you still getting knowledge on something. So whatever it is, that's what's going to be a better influence. That's going to be your influences, and that's what's going to be what's going to help you make your better judgment. So what I'm saying is, when we can start consuming everything that's going on, because think about it, when you keep hearing Fox and CNN and some of the mainstream media talk about all these deaths, we up another 300,000, we up 20 more thousand, and you keep hearing about all these deaths. Guess what? For those people that are hearing, it's going to bring fear. They're going to be afraid to do anything. It's going to bring fear. And then what you're going to do, you're going to cause some of those people just to, just not even know how to make a better judgment or think better, because then they're going to start living radical, and they just going to, and just live wild. And then those are going to be the wide spreaders, and so it's just crazy, man. And what I'm looking at the most is where our leaders are today. Al Sharpner and Jesse Jackson and all those guys are older. Where are our leaders? Where are
the young leaders? Where's the young leaders? I mean,
exactly.
I know, like your daughter, people like that are coming up.
Right.
But I agree. There's a gap. The old civil rights leaders and that upcoming generation. In between is a big gap. And my explanation that I have for that, why there's a gap, and I don't know if I'm right. This is just what I think. And I have a different view. I didn't grow up in this country. I've got this outside view on this country, and also because I've been on the other side before. I've seen the very dark sides. You had slavery, you had oppression of African Americans, and segregation. Then you had the civil rights movement in the 50s, 60s. Everybody was fighting. You had the Black Power movement in the 70s. And a lot of the media was picking that up in a good way. If you look at a lot of old shows, especially like, Michael Landon and the House on the Prairie and the show Highway to Heaven. If you watch these shows, there's a lot of producers and actors from the time that have a lot of that social content and political content in there, trying to bring these topics on the screen. And that happened a lot in the 70s. Not in the 60s, in the 70s, when everybody was aware of that, because it was out there. Something had to be done. You could not ignore it.
Was that Woodstock? Was Woodstock in the 70s?
Woodstock was 69.
69, yeah.
Yeah, but this is the hippies, It was out there. It was an upcoming generation who could not ignore it. So all the content was out there in the media, in the music. You had the protest music. It looked like Bob Dylan and all that, You don't have that anymore right now. But you had that coming up, that anti-war, anti-racism coming up, 70s, everything worked. Then you had the 80s, and then you had all these movies like Lethal Weapon and Die Hard and whatever. And you had Lethal Weapon, for example. Black cop, white cop, best friends, they go into each other's houses, everything is fine.
Right.
And you had that promotion that everything is cool.
Right.
And that it's not a bad thing.
Right.
And which is fine. It is that we broke that segregation, it is cool. But it also made it look like that there's no problem anymore.
Exactly.
Like 60s segregation, no fighting in the 70s, the big education front coming,
Right.
putting it out on the media. And then the 80s, they stopped educating that much. It was still out there if you look at some shows. But the later it got in the 80s, it looked more in Hollywood movies and shows that everything is fine now. We got it.
Yeah,
America is cool.
Blacks are actors now, and they was making as much money
Bill
as
Cosby,
white.
and all these shows.
Yeah, all these.
It looked like it's cool.
And that's why they get it. A lot of white people get, where they don't believe it's white privileges because, you have blacks who making, hit stars.
There's a black president, right?
Right.
So
So now 2020 pops in and showed what was still underlined.
Right. And I think this is the mistake this country made in the 80s, leaving that education behind and leaving the fight and the struggle and the battle behind and thinking, oh yeah, we've won this war. We're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have to do more. We're fine.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
But
and the problem was, you saw it only a couple of years later, 92, Rodney King, L.A. Nothing was done. Riots in L.A. because a black man got murdered by the police. 92. Just a couple of years after everything it was so fine on the media.
Mm-hmm.
And it popped up. And from there, it went up until now. And now we're looking at the same thing like 60, 70 years ago. And we realize this country had a great chance in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
When people realized we can't do this anymore. We have to get together and put that in the education, put that in the media, put that in those TV shows that everybody gets that influence. And then they stopped. And I think we're paying the price. Yeah. This is the problem we have now.
Because what they did was they were like, okay, everything is good because we have Hawaii Five-0. You have, all these different shows and everything looked good. Everybody's doing great together. But then what they failed in, that the root of the issue was in the system. It was systematic. And they did not take care of the systematic part. They took care of the top surface, kumbaya and holding hands and singing, and We Are the World, and Michael Jackson, all these people singing these songs of unity and things like that. But that was good because you had some of those people on the surface where we're like, yeah, this is it. But still, systematically, it wasn't taken care of. Now, the systematic part is now have shown itself like, oh, it's not this because you have Lil Johnny and Lil Mary dating, and they interracial couples and everything is good. But listen, this is what was holding us back. This generation see that it's deeper rooted, and not saying that other generations didn't see, but they're more adamant about the systemic racism,
right?
Than any other.
Daryl Davis, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago, what he said once was, we're on a good way, and you have like these Black Baptist churches and White Baptist churches, and you can go as a Black Baptist to a White Baptist church, and you are a brother in Christ, and that's fine. But will you also be okay as the brother-in-law? That's a big difference.
It is a big difference.
That is a big difference.
It is a big difference.
And this is where this country, where the white and the black guy, and it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
It goes both ways. I had an interesting conversation with somebody. I'm deep into Judaism and everything, and I talked to a friend. She's a liberal Jew, and her son is also a very liberal Jewish, and he's dating a Black Baptist girl.
Wow.
So they're cool with it, but the father is not as cool with it.
Oh.
He's like, okay, I'm Baptist and he's not, and whatever. So there's
the religious part, yeah.
Right. So you have that on all sides. You see racism in all sides. I'm not saying the person is racist. He just is very, very protective, and especially Baptists,
right,
are very
prejudice. It's the word prejudice.
I know many Baptists that are not prejudiced, but they're very
because they see it. Prejudice is just like you.
They take things super serious.
Yeah, bias.
Many Baptists take everything in the scripture very, very, very serious and very literal. I think that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
They take it super literal, which makes it sometimes complicated if you have a different opinion. It can lead to prejudice, and you have people who are like that, and you have them everywhere. But that being said, just as an example, you have that on all sides, no matter if you're white, Christian, or Jewish, or black, or whatever. That happens everywhere, and especially when it comes to interracial couples,
right.
Where the one side is like, no, I don't want the black son-in-law, or vice versa. Right. I don't want the white son-in-law or the Jewish son-in-law.
Right.
Where it happens the same way. And well, for example, another friend of mine, he's also a former white supremacist. Ice-T, and he had that band Buddy Count, right?
Yeah.
In LA. So at that time, the bass player and my friend, they were friends. And they were hanging out, partying, whatever. And my friend crashed the couch at the bass player's house. And the next morning, kids were coming down. We're coming down the stairs and everything. We're looking. We're like, there's a white man in the house. It was not there's a man on the sofa. It was there's a white man on the sofa in the house. And these are prejudices. This is something maybe because we're not used to it,
right?
Because you're not used to have white people over, or you're not used to have black people over,
right?
We talked about that before too. Yeah. This is why it's so important just to have dinner with each other and invite each other.
Right. So we want you guys to, right before we wrap up, we got about 12 minutes. So we've been talking about the COVID. We've been talking about the vaccine. We've been talking about the stimulus checks. What are your thoughts on it? Give us a call at 662-252-6692. That's 662-252-6692. What are your thoughts on it? And if you've been listening to the show on our opinion on it, you can give us your opinion. We're very open.
Absolutely, and you say erasing the hate. You see how it's intertwining, with all these topics, because the prejudices and that is all the same. It's all also based on fear. When we talk about the benefit of a doubt that you don't want to give a politician with a vaccine, it's also based on fear. Like our caller said, the fear because, hey, we've been lied before. What if this is another lie? Now you had something I don't have on the list, but what happened on Christmas Day in the morning in Nashville, okay? That bomb that went off, okay?
Right.
Explosion. So they know who did it. They don't have a motive yet, So I heard, of course, you have all the conspiracy theories. It was because of Dominion voting machines and whatever. Okay. Seriously, probably not. But one person said he worked in IT, and there's one thing that could have been that he was really, really paranoid because of 5G, that it makes people sick and everything. And that's why he targeted an AT&T building, which was actually not the big Batman building in Nashville. It was a smaller one where they had the relays and then whatever. And he attacked that. And it could have been because of 5G. Just really being paranoid and afraid and full of fear. It's making people sick or controlling or whatever. But if that's the case, you still can see how far fear can lead you. Right. Even if it's a person who thought there's Dominion voting machines in there and did it because of that, it's still based on fear.
Right.
The fear that, oh my God, that was fraud. The fear that somebody wants to do something bad. The fear, change, yes. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the good guy who's saving everybody.
Right.
That sounds familiar.
Taking control.
When I was a white supremacist, I was the same. I was like, I thought I was the good guy. I thought I'm the guy saving my people. I mean, I was wrong, because This is something.
Just what you've been told, man. You know, it goes all the way back to that. Like, again, you know, is what we're being educated on. Like they don't share some of the natural things you can do to survive COVID, so it won't be so hard on you. You know, with your vitamins. You don't hear them pushing that. You don't hear them, to do this, take your vitamins, go out and get, some sun, vitamin D. And you don't hear a lot of the natural things that a lot of people is doing that's helping them survive or getting through some of the hard things that comes down on them, during COVID. They're what they're dealing with. So you just don't hear that,
But people do so many things that are so clearly wrong. Just look at a smoker.
Mm-hmm.
I quit smoking in 2006. Was one of the best things I ever did. And yeah, when I was a smoker, I knew it was bad. My dad died of lung cancer when I was 8. I knew it was because he smoked like a chimney.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. I knew it was bad. I didn't even like the smoke when other people smoked sometimes, even though I smoked. And I was like, I can stop anytime, knowingly that it's bad for me and my environment. I still did it. Why? I don't know. I can't explain it. Why do we things that are bad? I mean, I'm overweight. Clearly overweight. I need to lose weight, about 40 pounds. I've been there. And I put it back on. And I eat, and I know wittingly, okay, that's like this. Yeah. I'll start the diet on Monday. And knowingly it's bad that you eat too much today. It's bad. It's bad that you eat too much tomorrow. And so on. Why do we humans do that to ourselves and to each other, knowingly that it's bad? Why is this?
We're just creatures of habits, man.
Right?
We get into habits. And
near habits. Yeah. Habit. We're not trusting anybody. It's a habit too.
Yeah, it's a habit because
you're
hardwired. You don't trust this person. You don't trust this person. You don't trust this person. I even in the times that I've speaking in some of my sermons, and I've told people the reason why it's hard for them to trust God is because they have so much distrust for other people that they have that they have broken their trust. Yeah. So why would I put my trust in somebody else, especially a person that I don't see? Why would I trust God when I trust this man, I trust that woman, I trust this person, and they all broken my trust? So I'm scared if I put my trust in somebody else, they're going to break their trust. So, it's just a habit, like I'm not going to trust anybody. Everything people say, I'm going to, go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I don't want to make sure everything is, do all my leg work to make sure they're not, wrong, which is cool to do. But man, we got to learn how to get the trust back. You can't control the government if they're doing something underhandedly and they're doing something that we probably never pick up on. You can't control that. What you can control is when you get up in the morning, what you're going to listen to, what's going to influence you to make a good decision. Because even eating right is sometimes almost eating wrong. Say, okay, I'm gonna just eat vegetables and get away from. Listen, some of the vegetables have chemicals in it. It's just as worse as eating meat or whatever. So sometimes is organic really organic or just the word organic? Right.
The best is really if you start cooking a lot more from scratch. This is what we do too. It's of course. I mean, when I'm coming home, we're gonna have burgers and fries. Okay,
something quick, easy.
Something quick, but it is for the most part. It's homemade fries. We know what's in it. Okay, the burger patty is a frozen one. We don't. I think we're gonna do those tonight. But in general, it's probably just meat in it anyway. But usually, if you kind of home cook stuff, if I'm cooking spaghetti, I cook it from scratch. Of course, I'm using tomato sauce from the can, the unseasoned, just the crushed tomatoes. But I'm cooking the rest from scratch. I'm putting my own ingredients in it. I know what's in it and what's not in it. And this is just an awareness that you can control your life. You can control what you take in, not only food, but also what you take in here in your mind. That's what you said.
Right.
You have the choice in the morning what you're listening to. And look, on my phone, if you click on the browser and you get the suggested websites, and there's CNN and Fox.
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more on CNN than on Fox, usually, but I'm going on both. I'm going on both because I'm comparing. I'm comparing. Okay, now Congress, they were voting on the bill again today. I want to see how both sides are reporting on it.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the middle, then you will know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's also to get the vibe. It's also interesting to see how you can communicate with people. Why are some people on the conservative side are reacting the way they're reacting? Because because Fox has put it out like this, because they worded something like that. Then okay, that person's not just, pardon my French, an asshole. He's just repeating what he was influenced there in the morning, his intake. So then you can show some compassion, some understanding. Okay, I know where it's coming from. He just read that. You still can have a conversation,
right?
Basically,
because I have people. Like, I mean, you're getting information from other people and they're leading a guy in the way. I have people say, well, how do you know the Bible was right? It was written by a man. I did research and seen that this was, I said, well, your research, where did that come from? Did it come from a man as well? So who's right?
Right. And again, at the end, it's belief and faith.
Right, yeah. So
that's all we have at the end.
So, you got people who are getting information and you have to be able to cipher that information.
Right.
And then know what you feel is good. And that's why this time during this year we should have been more aware of our inner selves. Being more closer to our inner selves and making
priorities,
right, and making good decisions based upon my connection with my spiritual outlet or whatever, and connecting with ourselves and saying, okay, I can discern what they're saying, or I can discern what's happening, and then make that knowledgeable decision. Do I take the vaccine?
Right.
Or do I not?
So we're almost running out of time here. But one thing that I want to give everybody on the way, and the question for you too, and ask yourself that too. If you ask your wife, do you love me? And she's telling you yes. How do you know if she's telling the truth? You don't. You just believe. That's your choice. If you believe it or not, right?
Right.
And she can tell you it's the truth. But it's up to you if you want to take it the way she said it or not, right?
Right.
Faith. That's at the end, it's only faith we have. Whatever who's telling us that, even scientists with what I don't know what they grew in the Petri dish, you know what I mean? I only see what they show us. Well, anyway, this is what I wanted to give everybody on the way. We probably will talk a little bit about this stuff next week again. If you have anybody you want on the show, if you want to be on the show, text us, email us, go online. You'll find Pastor Ray on all the platforms.
Yep, Pastor Ray or Ray Johnson on Facebook. Ray S. Johnson, you can follow me there. It's Pastor Ray on IG, and it's Pastor Ray on Twitter.
And you find me on all the platforms, all but TikTok and Snapchat. So he's got Snapchat.
I do have Snapchat.
I still have. I don't know. I will figure it out. TM Garret. TMGARRET. And you also will find us, of course, Erasing the Hate, everyone on all platforms. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the live stream here on WKRA FM 92.7, The Change in Holly Springs. Thanks for supporting us, and see you next week.
All right, see you guys.